Hey guys, it's me again. Today I'm here to discuss the top 5 restricteds in Regulation G right now. A little bit of this is my personal opinion, and a little bit of this is just results. But yeah, let's begin. So, starting off from the bottom, we have Kyogre. Now, why do I think Kyogre is one of the top 5 best restricteds? Because there's Wide Guard, there's Maridon, there's other Pokemon that are faster than or stronger than it. Well, the thing is, Water Spout is so consistent. Water Spout is a 150 base power move coming off of special attack stat of 150, and usually Kyogre run beside things like Farigiraf, for example. And Farigiraf can block, like, if you're fighting a Trick Room team, for example, like with Calyrex Ice, Farigiraf can block, like, an Incineroar's priority, and then Water Spout can go up that way, or you can just put Tornadus on the Kyogre team and give it speed control with something like Tailwind, right? So there's a lot of ways to just get Kyogre where it's fast enough to get that Water Spout off. And just a single Water Spout with like Mystic Water can be enough to just destroy or poke a hole in pretty much any team out there. Like, it's very hard to switch into, it's very hard to take, and you need like something like Ogerpon Wellspring, or you need to calc specifically to live it. So like, no matter what type of team you're building, you need to be aware of Kyogre in the meta, and that's why I think it's number 5. And now for number 4, I'm gonna go with a more standard pick, and that's Calyrex Ice Rider. Calyrex Ice Rider, as we already know, is the slightly less broken version of Calyrex Shadow Rider. The main reason just holding it back is the fact that it's slow, so you need to set up Trick Room. But once you get that Trick Room set up, it's arguably as broken, if not more broken, than Shadow Rider. Glacial Lance is a 120 base power move. You put Clear Amulet on this thing. You run it with like Close Combat. You run it with something like Trick Room, right? And like Protect. And you could even do like simple spreads like 252 252. Like, I run that quite often, and you can get like really good success with it. You pick up like 1 KO, and you put on like a Terra type, let's say Fire, to avoid burn, right? You pick up 1 KO with this thing under Trick Room, and the game's pretty much over, right? And it's very bulky too. Like 100, 150, 130 is insanely good bulk. So even if like you get hit by a super effective move, like let's say like Knockoff, for example, it can survive Knockoff from Incineroar really easily, and it can easily survive like Surging Strikes from Urshifu, even Terra Water Urshifu, especially if you have like screens up or something. Like, I run this with Ninetales, for example, Ninetales Alola, and I run like Aurora Veil, for example. Some people run like Grim Snarl. Some people run it with like Incineroar, with like, or not even Incineroar. They run it with like Mimikyu. Mimikyu runs around with like Burn and stuff, or like Incineroar, stuff like that, right? So there's a lot of ways to get around, and just like get that one Trick Room up, and it pairs really well with Farigiraf. It pairs really well with Pokemon like Ursaluna Blood Moon, for example. Like, you can have both of these side by side and just sweep through entire teams with Hyper Voice, like Terra Normal, like Life Orb Hyper Voice, and then like Earth Power, and like Blood Moon, and just do like another 252 spread. Although, I mean, it's better to have like better, like you can max it obviously, but like you can go from here, like maybe get a bit more into HP or defense, and into EVs and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, Calyrex Ice Rider, very very good. My personal favorite restricted, I like to use a lot, and I think it's a really good spot at number 4. Now for number 3, this is going to be a bit of a controversial pick, but I'm going to put Calyrex Shadow Rider here. Now, why am I putting Calyrex Shadow Rider at number 3? You might say it's absolutely busted. Astral Barrage is busted, and it's got Expanding Force. Yes, they are busted, but the thing is, being the most popular Pokemon in the meta makes it so that the teams in the meta adapt to you really hard. So now there's a lot of normal types running around. Like, there's a lot of Farigiraf running around in the meta right now. There's a lot of Pokemon like Ogerpon Wellspring running around, and there's Pokemon like Blood Moon Ursaluna, right? Like Blood Moon Ursaluna running around. So you have Pokemon out there which can either comfortably take an Astral Barrage, or can just are just completely immune to it. And then you have Incineroar with knockoff. Like there's things in the meta which can take its attacks, and you can run like Draining Kiss and stuff. And obviously this mon, I'm not saying this mon isn't broken. This mon is still broken, but I don't know, like something like this, like with choice specs can be a set. I've also seen stuff like Focus Sash variants running Astral Barrage with Psyshock for Terapagos, and like Nasty Plot and Protect, and then just go for like 252 like in super fast, right? But the thing is, once again, like there's a lot of options to deal with it in the meta, so it's not as powerful as it was in initial meta. It's still really powerful though. Like picking up that, like with proper speed control and Astral Barrage, it's insanely strong. But I do feel like the there's a lot more counters to it because it's that insanely strong, right? It's like Urshifu Rapid Strike or Flutterbane in past formats. It's something that everyone is already prepared for, so that's why I'm putting it number 3. Otherwise, probably go a little bit higher. But yeah, that's my take on Calyrex Shadow Rider. Okay, now for number 2, I'm gonna put Terapagos. A lot of people were saying that this Pokemon was mid when it first came out, and like stuff like Covert Cloak was popular, and stuff like, for example, like Leftovers was popular with like running with Rillaboom, but people were sleeping on Terapagos quite a bit. Like yeah, Terrastar, but the thing is with Terapagos and why I think it's really broken is, first of all, it's got 2 absolutely insane abilities. Terra Shell, making every move that hits it like initially not super effective, is just absolutely insane. That's just like a better multi-skill. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And like because it works even with like multi-hit moves, it works with everything, right? And then on top of that, when you terrastalize Terapagos, the thing is you get like access to, not only do you get really powerful like Terra Starstorm, which is a 120 base power move with no drawbacks, but you get health back. You get health back, and you take out terrain, and you take out weather. Like this thing is absolutely ridiculous. And recently in the most recent regionals in Indianapolis, there was like a really insane team, Indianapolis VGC, right? There was that really insane Terapagos team with like Choice Specs Terapagos, right? And Choice Specs Terapagos, as we all know, is just like insane. Like the thing is, people used to set up like Terapagos, like they used to go something like Leftover, Terra Starstorm, Calm Mind, like Earth Power, something like that. But the thing is, if you've got Terapagos here with choice specs, now you can run stuff like Hyper Beam, and that can pick up KOs and stuff like Incineroar, like one shot it. You've got stuff like Terra Starstorm, and I've been on ladder and seen like people run like Farigarath so that you can't outspeed it, and then you run stuff like Helping Hand, and Helping Hand into Terra Starstorm has been able to like one shot like Ogerpon, one shot Incineroar beside each other. Like it's absolutely busted. And that's why I think like no one's prepared for it, because everyone's talking about Shadow Rider and Ice Rider and their 120 base power moves, and everyone was sleeping on Terra Starstorm. Like, what move do you know that once you Terra, like nothing switches in, nothing resists it? Everyone talks about, oh, nothing switches into this, nothing switches into that. Well, Terra Starstorm is that move where nothing switches into it. So that's why I think Terapagos is just really good. I guess for EV spreads, I think Earth Power. I don't know what other move they run on a choice specs. Maybe like on like Ice Beam or something, right? Run something like that, right? And yeah, you can do this if you want to go really fast, or you can do like 252 defense, take out some of that speed investment, or like 252 HP. Like, look at this book: 160, 110, 110, and 130. Like, holy shit, that's crazy. That's crazy bulk right there, right? That's why I think Terapagos is really busted. Okay, now the last one. I mean, you guys probably saw this coming post Indianapolis, but yeah, Maridon. Maridon, like this team right here, proved to everyone why Maridon is busted. Like the Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Discharge, Volt Switch. Now, Maridon initially, people were running it with stuff like Iron Valiant. People were running with stuff like Iron Crown, or like Iron Bundle, right, and stuff like Icy Wind. But the thing is, um, like they were running like Assault Vest. Um, they didn't see the potential of Maridon that Rajan did, and people like other players who built this team did. Because what this team does that the other teams don't do is just the insane amount of pressure you can put on with Maridon with Volt Switch, Volt Switch, and then an Electro Drift just form this terrifying core because Volt Switch like allows you to pivot out. So like let's say they bring in Indeedee, you can Volt Switch out, set up the train later, right? Or Electro Drift allows you to just pick up a KO. Like you can KO basically anything in the format. Like for example, if you break Terapagos Terra Shell, like Electro Drift will just one shot this thing with choice specs, right? With choice specs, and you can run something like Whimsicott, like they did in like Rajan did, for example. Whimsicott, you can run that and run Tailwind, and Moonblast and just an Encore, right? Like this team right here, right? With the Encore and the Moonblast, it was just insane. And you saw him fight against Andrew, and Andrew was like trying his best to like set up like Tailwind, set up and get Terapagos out there with Terra Starstorm. But it was just so difficult because Maridon was just switching in and out using Electro Drift, with Farigiraf in the back as well, benefiting from that electric terrain so that it couldn't be killed by Urshifu Rapid Strike from Andrew. So like, and it was so hard. It was so hard to get off the field because Maridon just naturally outspeeds so much of the meta, and what it doesn't outspeed, Whimsicott allows you to outspeed with Tailwind. So now you get that core, and then you get something like the Ursaluna Blood Moon, which helps in the mirror, and it just becomes absolutely terrifying. Because like, how do you switch into Electro Drift? How do you switch into Draco Meteor? Like Discharge is it's so much insane amount of power and the speed. So the power and the speed are the main reason. So that's why I think that Maridon is currently the best in the meta. We'll have to see how it develops. If like more people start running Ting Lu or stuff like that to counter it. But yeah, that's my list for top five Pokemon that are really good right now in the meta. All right. See you guys later. Bye.